This is a quick start guide to dflat, a custom ROM to replace the ROMs of the Oric 1 and Oric Atmos computers from the early 80s. I go by the handle of 6502 Nerd. The 6502 is the CPU that runs on the Oric 1 and Atmos and the first assembly language I learned. So dflat is a new structured basic which is quite a bit faster than the original Oric basic and also has additional features like a built-in assembler. But this video is just about getting started with dflat quickly so you can start playing around with it. You'll be able to emulate it on your PC, so you don't need a real Oric to start getting into it. So the first thing you're going to need is to be able to download the files. So that's all on GitHub, and the URL is here, 6502nerd/dflat in GitHub. That will take you to my repository, and simply download the code. If you click that, you'll get some options. The easiest way, if you don't have a GitHub clone or CLI already, is to just download the zip file. So let's select that, and my browser allows me to choose where to save my file, so I'll put it somewhere on my C drive in my documents. I think I created something here. Well, I'll just create a new folder called Oric dflat, and then go into there and save the zip file. And once that's downloaded, I will be able to open the file. So here it is, dflat.zip, and I'm just going to right click and use the options to just extract it to here, and it will extract all of the files, and you'll notice that it's in a folder called dflat oric, so I'll go into there. Now there's a few folders to go through, but basically click on the Oric dflat video folder there, and here is the important file. You've got all the source code here, so if you really want to look at how dflat works and improve it yourself, feel free. But to get started, the important folder is the emulators folder, and in here there is an Oric emulator called Oricutron, which is what dflat runs inside, and there are some images, tapes, and also the ROM files to run the emulator. Now everything's already pre-configured here, so there's not much to do except for double clicking on the Oricutron icon. So I'll double click that, and that loads up dflat by default. So what you see here now is the boot up screen for dflat, and I can now start typing things into the emulator, and you can see that dflat is working. So what should we do now? There are a few programs, so if I bring up this folder here, there's a few programs which are available. dfprogs is actually just the source files, so these are programs in text form if you want to edit and create new programs, but the main place where all programs are stored is in the tapes folder, and here you'll see there's a few tapes that you can try. The one that I'm going to load this time is Tetris, which is a game that I wrote as a demonstration of dflat, and to load that we do tload and then the file name t.tetris.tap and press enter, and you can see that's going to start loading. Now that's going to take a long time because it's actually simulating a tape drive loading into a real Oric. If we want to speed that up on the emulator, you can press F6, which will basically maximize the speed of the emulator, and that avoids us a huge wait. It's loaded, but you can see it's flashing really fast, the cursor, so press F6 again to get back to a normal speed. Now we can list the program if we want to, and there you can see the program, but I'm not trying to explain how the program works today. Typically on most dflat programs you start it by typing _start, open bracket, close bracket. That simply invokes the starting function for this program called, and in this case it is called start. It takes no parameters, so that's why the open bracket, close bracket is there. So start, open bracket, close bracket, with the underscore at the beginning, because that's what defines a function, and press enter. And now the program has started. And after a bit of a wait, you can now get some awful music coded by me. So quickly press the left arrow button, and that switches it off, or back on again with the right arrow, but I'll keep it off. And now I can start playing. If I press fire, which on here it means the space bar, then we can start playing Tetris. Now bear in mind this is all done in D flat. There's no assembly language. You would not possibly be able to do something like this using Oric's built-in BASIC. So it shows really how quick D flat is compared to the standard Oric BASIC, and you really have to go to machine code to be able to do much better than this. So that's D flat in action. I'll press Ctrl C to stop the program, CLS to clear the screen. I also need to re-enable the cursor again because the game switched it off. But you can see that D flat is a fairly regular looking BASIC, but with additional features which I'll go into in other videos. I hope this has allowed you to be able to quickly have a go of D flat. Any suggestions and ideas, very welcome. Thank you very much.